Hey guys, it's me, Arthur Jr. 86 here with another toy review for you. And today we're going to be looking at Marvel's Avengers, Assault Squad Nick Fury. As you can see, this is based off of the Sam Jackson character that we saw in the first Avengers movie. And right on the bottom right hand side of the blister packaging, it says that he has a launching anti-tank missile. And right above Nick Fury himself is the Avengers logo, and as well as pictures of other members of the Avengers team: Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and Captain America. So let's go ahead and turn this around, see what we got on the back. Okay, so here we go. We've got a picture of Nick Fury holding his rocket launcher, his launching anti-tank missile, which I assume is going to be his action feature. On the bottom, it says, Nick Fury prefers to lead from the shadows, leaving others to take the glory of the triumphs he engineers. But when push comes to shove, and the fate of the world is on the line, he is not afraid to step into the line of fire. And as you can see here, he is number 17 of the Avengers line. And also on the left-hand side, you see a couple of other pictures. We've got the Cosmic Axe Chitauri and the Shatter Blaster Iron Man, just a couple of other figures that are available in this line, but I don't have those, so I'm not going to be reviewing them. We're just going to do Nick Fury, so let's open this bad boy up and see what we got. Okay, so we've got Nick Fury out of the packaging. As you can see, it's not a bad likeness to this Samuel L. Jackson. It's pretty good. He's got that signature eye patch look there on his head. He's wearing an all-black suit, a black cape. He's got all kinds of ammo packs on him, and he's got holsters and everything. One thing I would like to note is that the holster there around his chest is got a gun already inside there. However, that weapon is molded into the holster, which means that it cannot be removed and you can't do anything with it. That is a little bit disappointing. But it's still not a bad look. It still looks fine in there. Let's see. And actually, camera may not be picking this up, but right by his eye patch there, he's got some scarring around his eye, which is a pretty nice little detail that they added in. I mean, everything looks pretty good. As far as the mold goes, everything's good minus that one holster, the paint job. I mean, what can I say? It's pretty much just an all-black suit. There isn't a lot of... He's not a very colorful character, but, you know, if you've seen the movie, Nick Fury is he just wears all black throughout the entire thing, so I have to say that this is probably a pretty good likeness to the character that we saw in the movie. Now, I'm going to move my camera down here a bit, and as you'll notice, Nick Fury is on a stand. And yes, that is a G.I. Joe stand. He does not come with any figure stand. And he's standing, I put him on that figure stand because he doesn't seem to stand up too well on his own. That could be because of the cape that he's wearing there, which might be making him a little top heavy. That cape looks like it's going to be completely removable, however, so if you want him, standing around in poses without the cape, you could, probably do that. I'm gonna leave it on there because I don't want to. I try not to take those kind of capes or clothing accessories off, just because I find I kind of struggle with it sometimes, and I don't want to end up like ripping it or bending it. Or, anyways, let's move on and take a look at the articulation. Okay, Nick Fury's head can do a full 360-degree turn. Surprisingly, it's not hindered by the cape at all, which is pretty nice. We've got full 360 rotation with the arms where it meets the shoulder, the elbows. Obviously, you can move them back and forth like that. You can actually twist them around, which is pretty nice. There is zero articulation there in the wrists. And I do mean there is no articulation at all in the wrists. Just the elbows and where the shoulder is all we've got for articulation with the arms. There is articulation around the torso here, whereas around the chest it does rock back and forth a little bit. There is again rotation. It looks like you probably could get full rotation around his chest if I took off the cape. Right now that movement is hindered. Okay, we can... Looks like we can move the legs around pretty nicely. They bend at the knees, like so. Nick Fury can also bend his ankles here around. Full 360-degree turn. So, not bad articulation. Let me put him back on this figure stand real quick. So the articulation is not too bad. The only problem is that movement around the torso is hindered by the cape, and there is zero articulation with the wrists. Otherwise, articulation with this is not bad. It's pretty good. It's standard. Okay, let's take a look at Nick Fury's accessories. First up is that he comes with this assault rifle here. Oh, let's get this camera in focus. He comes with this pretty cool looking assault rifle with this underbarrel grenade launcher. He also comes with this pistol, which is not bad. Looks pretty good. Looks like a Chinese Mauser, I think. And he also comes with this rocket launcher, or rather a missile launcher. Looks kind of like a javelin. As you can see, this is a pretty colorful, really oversized blaster, and an odd color choice here is this purple missile itself. When I think of Nick Fury, the color purple doesn't necessarily come to mind, but you know, this is supposed to be just a kid's toy action figure here, so you know, they gotta make the figure look a little bit colorful, gotta have something that really stands out. So let's take a look at Nick Fury with all of his accessories. Okay, so here we have Nick Fury holding two of his weapons. We've got him holding his assault rifle in his right hand there, and we've got his pistol there in his left hand. And those weapons are perfectly suited for those hands. The assault rifle does not work well with the left hand, and the pistol is just going to fall out or not fit very well in the right hand, which is a bit disappointing. But the bigger problem here with this figure is, of course, I mentioned earlier that there is zero articulation in the wrists, and that is a huge problem here with our accessories. He can't really move, or rather, you can't really get him in that many great poses with his weapons, specifically his assault rifle and his pistol. You know, the guns are always going to be pointing in a certain direction. He can't really hold the assault rifle with both of his hands. And the bigger problem is with his action feature. Let me just set that up real quick. Okay, so here's Nick Fury holding his rocket launcher, or his missile launcher rather. As you can see, he's only holding it in one hand because he can only hold it in one hand at a time. If we saw on the box here, it shows that he can hold the missile launcher with both hands, gripping both the handles. That, however, is not the case here. Both of his hands, they can't get the articulation or the reach to grab both those handles, so he can only hold his missile launcher with one hand, which is rather disappointing. You can't really get any great poses out of him. This is probably the best looking pose I've been able to get for him. You know, he can hold another weapon in his other hand while he's holding the missile launcher, but if you're looking for a really great pose with him, like what's pictured on the back of the box, don't expect that to happen. So let's go ahead and let's at least take a look at his action features, see if this thing actually really works. Okay, so after trying to play around with the missile launcher there, I kind of discovered that there is no action feature at all here, as I thought that there was. Well, he does have the missile launcher, he does have the actual missile itself. When I put it in, I can look and see that there is actually a spring mechanism in there, so it, locks into place. However, there is no button to release the actual missile itself, which is really, really, really disappointing. The box here advertises that he comes with a launching anti-tank missile. I couldn't find any button, no release mechanism, nothing. I don't get it. I'm really shocked by this. Because on the box, he's advertised as having this action feature, and he's also advertised as being able to grip the missile launcher with both hands. And neither of those are the case here with this figure. So, let me just move on now to my final thoughts on the Nick Fury, or rather the Assault Squad Nick Fury figure. Okay, my final thoughts. The mold here is pretty good. It's not the best. We've got that problem with the holster there. The pistol in the holster around his chest, that's all molded in. That's a little disappointing. Otherwise, the mold is fine. It looks good. The paint job is really clean and nice. Only downside to the paint job is that you've got a figure that is all black. Completely black. There isn't really a lot of color variation here, but otherwise it looks like the Nick Fury we saw in the movie, which is really nice. It's good, and overall the look is fine. The articulation is decent. There's a couple of points there that are not really that great. The biggest problem with the articulation, of course, being the wrists and the hands, which leads us to the other problem is with the accessories. The accessories themselves are actually really, really nice. However, because of those hands, he can't really get any good poses with the accessories, and his missile launcher here doesn't actually do anything, which is really, really disappointing. So, if you're gonna buy this figure, if you're a collector and you want to buy this figure, I would say buyer beware. If you're looking for a figure to get really awesome, great poses out of, you may be disappointed with this. You probably will be, because you can't get any good poses with weapons or his missile launcher, all because of those wrists. Those wrists really hinder a lot of, posability here for him, which is kind of surprising, because every other part of him seems to articulate just fine. Why Hasbro didn't include articulation in his wrists, I don't know. I don't understand. So with this figure, it's a bittersweet sort of a feeling I have with this figure, because he looks really, really nice. He looks just like Nick Fury that we saw in the movie. But you can't get any great poses out of him, and he's got these good accessories, but they don't actually, either they don't do anything, or you can't, Nick Fury himself can't really hold them in any great positions. So again, I say if you're going to buy this figure, buyer beware. Keep in mind that you're not going to get any great poses out of him, but he does look pretty good. So that's going to wrap it up for this review. See you later, guys.